How you doing? And welcome to Neither Real Music. I'm Ed, and this is Just Play It for the Piano. If you've been following along, we are looking at Alice in Wonderland. We are coming up on the end, so we're going to be working on the last 8 measures of the song. In this section, we're going to be looking at a set of chords to support our main melody. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe and to ring the bell so that you know when your next lesson is coming. But let's jump right in. A lot of this is stuff that you're probably already going to be familiar with. So let's take a look at our first measure of these last 8 measures. In my left hand, my pinky is going to be playing the note D, and I'm going to be outlining a D minor chord. My other 2 fingers are going to be playing F and A. Now in this case, I'm using 1 and 3. You can use 1 and 2, or whatever fingering is comfortable. So in my right hand, I'm going to be working the main melody. Now, in general, I'm going to be using a very basic fingering. I'm just going to go with my thumb, my index, and my middle. So we have, and that's beats 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, 3, being outlined with a D minor chord. Now when we move on to this next measure, we're going to be playing a mocked G7 chord. So with my index finger, I'm going to be playing the note G, and with my pinky and my middle finger, I'm going to be playing the notes D and F. Okay, so notice there's no third in this chord. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go to the note E. And then on beat 3, I'm going to play another D. So this is going to go 1, 2, 3. So as I said, it's a mocked G7 chord. It has 3 of the 4 notes that make our G7 chord. So if we put these 2 ideas together, we end up with this. From here, we're going to be going back to the note E in our melody, but I'm going to be playing an E minor chord in my left hand. So now my ring finger is going to play the note E, and my other 2 fingers are going to play G and B. So it's going to go. And from here we're going to have to reach out. We're going to skip and get to the note G. So generally I would have a finger in between these 2 points, but in this case I have to skip the note. So I have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Putting that all together from the beginning, we sound like this. Now the reason for the skip from our E is so that we can use it as a pivot to get all the way up to the note C in our main melody, so that we can support it with a mock A minor 7 chord. So in this case, in my left hand, I'm going to be playing A with my thumb, and then with my ring finger and my pointer finger, I'm going to play E and G. Now very similar to the G7 chord, we don't have a third in this. At least not in this hand. Our third ends up being in our right hand. Okay? So this is something to remember, that sometimes chords can be broken apart and played between 2 hands so that in total they are put together. And sometimes you just get a mock, something that's supposed to sound like the chord, but it might be missing a one of the tones for it, one of the notes. So from the beginning, we have now we're going to start working our way down. So we're going to hit the note A as our melody note. So that's beat 3 of that 4th measure in our sequence. Now that A sets up what's coming next. We're going to basically be walking down for the next parts. So Let's review these first 4 measures in total, and then we'll work on the next ones. Okay. Now from here, I'm going back to a D minor chord in my left hand. Going to be playing it with a G, 1, and then on beat 3 we're going to play an F. So this is 1, 2, 3. From here I'm going to cross over as if I were playing a scale, and I'm going to play E with my 3rd finger, and I'm going to be playing that G7 chord that we learned in the prior sequence. And then I'm going to play a D on beat 3. So this is going to go like this. 1, 2, 3. So putting those 2 ideas together, we end up with and now we come to our ending. This is the only time our left hand is going to move because we're going to be going to a C chord. And I'm going to be playing C and C together on beat 1. On beat 2 I'm going to create a suspension. So I'm going to play the notes F and G. So this is a C sus4 chord. And all we're doing is holding down the note C. After that, while continuing to hold the note C, we're going to play a normal C chord. So it's going to be C and then E and G. So we create this beautiful sus sound. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All while holding down the note C after we play it. So in total, if we play these last 4 measures, it should sound like this. So now let's hear what this sounds like all put together. From here on out, I'm going to give you a couple of opportunities to practice like I've done throughout this series. You're going to get an opportunity to hear it and play along with the sheet music. Then we will have the Synthesia program come in and you can play with the drop-down bars. From there, I will have the sheet music and Synthesia playing together, but you will not be able to see my hands playing. After that, we're going to remove the sound. So this way you could try to play along with the sheet music and then the Synthesia program without being able to hear what everything sounds like, so that you can be sure you're playing it correctly. So let's take a look at this with the sheet music. 1, 2, 3. Now let's take a look at this with the Synthesia program. 1, 2, 3. Now let's take a look at this with the sheet music and the Synthesia program together. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to remove the sound so you could be sure that you're playing things correctly along with the sheet music. 1, 2, 3. And last, no sound, and you could play along with the drop-down bars in the Synthesia program. 1, 2, 3. I hope this series helped you learn a few different ways to approach a song like Alice in Wonderland. Real book songs or classic Broadway tunes can be interpreted in a lot of different fashions. So the way that I put together my arrangement was to kind of touch on simple ideas throughout the song so that you had something interesting to hear. You could take any one of these ideas and apply it to the whole song if you wanted to. I really hope lessons like this have helped you become a better player. If they have, remember to subscribe and ring the bell so that you know when your next lesson is coming. If you really enjoyed something like this, please consider visiting my Patreon and donating $1 there. There isn't a lot up there, but $1 can help me start finding more time for content. This way I can work less on my other things and more on this and provide content for you to follow. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Compliments are nice, but questions let me know that you're working on these things. Good luck and good practice.